And Blood Brothers, of course, has Mrs. Johnson right at its centre. You've written for a lot of women roles, strong women roles, educating Rita and Shirley Valentine as well. Why do you feel that you're capable of speaking as a woman so well?
It's a question that I've been asked endlessly, and I've not really got any, any insight, any great insight into that. I mean, I accept the fact that yes, I was a ladies' hairdresser for 6 years, so, I was used to hearing women talk. I was a good listener, very bad hairdresser, but a very good listener. So maybe a lot of that fed in. I've always liked women. That's not true of every man that I know, not true of every male playwright that I know. But I think the thing is, it's kind of unremarkable to me, because it's the dramatist's job to convince, with whatever character, of nature. If I decide to write a play about elephants, I've got to convince you that I understand the elephant. And if I don't understand it, it will be apparent to me first on the page, and it will never see the light of day. So if I dare to write about, the other gender, then I'll get them right, or it won't, it won't see the light of day. But it's also, we're different gender. We have our own uniqueness, but we're commonly human beings, and human beings have the same, all have the same kind of fears, hopes. We all kind of want the same thing. Mm-hmm. We're all moved by the same thing. So I don't, it doesn't. It's never seemed remarkable to me that I'm writing a woman. I just do it.
Are there any women in your life or in your past that have inspired any of the role?
Well, I guess not. You can't point to one and say, that person in my life became that character in a play. I don't think I do that, but it's probably, a massive amount of the women that I was kind of brought up with have crept into the drama and the novels. I mean, my novel, The Wrong Boy, I can look at that, even though it's set in Failsworth, Manchester. I can look at it and see that, Raymond, the central character, his mother, has got a lot of my mother in there, a lot of the anxieties that a young mother has about a boy who's not getting on in the world the way. Well, every mother's like that. Every mother worries about her child not getting on in the world. So, yes, it's like my mother, but it's got to be more than that. It's got to be universal. I've got to find the universal in the people I know for them to then become characters. But it's not taking I didn't take my mother and say, I will use her to inform Raymond's mother in the Wrong Boy. It doesn't work that way with me, mm-hmm. Because the act of writing and creating for me has to be an imaginative one. I have to dare to imagine these characters and their feelings and their hopes and their fears, and mm-hmm. ambitions.
The Wrong Boy came out in 2000. Are you tempted, or have you been working on any novels since?
No. It was. I didn't sit down to write a novel anyway. It turned out that way. I wrote it initially just as a one-page piece to entertain my son and his friend Dave, who were huge Smiths fans.
Our Day Out returned to the Royal Court last summer for a second annual run, and it's been tipped for the West End. Are there any plans to take it there?
No, currently there are no plans. That is not in my remit. I don't decide whether a play of mine is seen in London or New York or New Zealand or Australia. It comes about because a management want to buy it, the rights to present it in one of those places. And as much as we all hoped that Our Day Out, the musical, would have a greater life in this country, we've not been in a position of having managements breaking down the door to say, please, can we present it in, somewhere in London. I don't know that it would naturally fit into the traditional kind of West End theatre anyway. I think one of the glories about the Royal Court has been that it's unique. It really is unique theatre. The way it's funded, the physicality of it. We couldn't have achieved that level of production value in any other theatre in this country without, say, the resources of the National Theatre. And ideally, that's what we would have loved. We would have loved it to have gone into our production have gone into the National Theatre, onto the big stage, the Olivier. And we tried very, very hard to get the National Theatre to show interest in it. But I have to say, it just didn't come about.
Willy Russell, thanks very much for coming in.
My pleasure. It's been great.